I'm going to mute.
Okay. All right. We're live. Are we live?
It says we're live.
Sweet. Hopefully it's working.
Hello.
Hello. There we go. I see it working now. Okay. Welcome back to IGOW, International Game of Whoop. We are on week 41, and as you can see here, SteveK is the IGOW champion. Yay!
We needed
Bravo!
here.
If we we need like the Mr. Beast
Right?
like
Boom.
little explosion.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Anyway, so Steve completed Daniel's trick for week number 41, which was the mini UTT he made up, and therefore Daniel got a letter, and that was Daniel's last letter spelling out whoop. Steve currently only had WHO, so he is the last person in the game and thus the champion.
After 41 weeks.
Yes.
Like, I cannot believe it lasted this long. It's so crazy.
Yes, congratulations to Steve. And we're going to go over some of Steve's top videos here for the week while people kind of file in. And then we're going to have SteveK on, and Jesse and myself and Ashley ask him a few questions about IGOW and winning and everything like that. So let's thought I'd start it with SteveK's week number 5. Oh, that is not what this is. You remember this one? Tree surfing with the blue tree.
Oh, yeah, the blue tree. That was like the coolest thing ever. Oh, I forgot he was doing HD footage back then.
Yep. This wasn't with the naked GoPro though. I think this was like a HD, a 4K, one of the 4K cams.
The end of the endless competition. You are so right.
Hey, HD, how you doing? Good, I was afraid the chat wasn't working again. Remember how it just like all poured in?
Right.
So Steve Font, this was week 5, Jesse. This was tree surfing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And then the blue tree.
Wow, that is outstanding. My first thought was, did he mess with the colors? And my second thought was, I really don't care.
No, it's actually a tree that's painted blue. It's pretty cool. But yeah, because since the sky's like orange, it looks kind of like it's messed with. Anyway, so SteveK didn't actually win that week because of, remember, the like light trails one?
Oh, yeah.
He got just a doubt. So his first
That
win...
was C'est La Vie's week, right? Yep.
Didn't go into... Steve didn't get his first win until week 14. Which kind of came with Steve's signature.
Yep. This was Halloween. I remember this one.
So that week you just needed to do 3 inverted orbits each direction, but not in the same clip. And Steve did them like both in the same clip, and we were like, whoa.
Right? I remember being so impressed with this.
And then he starts doing the freaking rolling orbits, and I was just like... He technically broke his own like rule he had later there. That's the top one out of the screen.
Yep.
I was still being developed.
This was week 14. It's now week 41. Such improvements have been made.
So Steve won that week. Oh, don't forget the gap. Oh, it just
Hey,
goes on.
Zach.
Perfect. Hey, what's up, Zach? And then Steve also won the New Year's resolution
Oh, yeah.
combo. Steve always rocking the HD in some form or another. Maddie flip. Oh, he's got it labeled right there. How nice.
Yep.
Nice. I think Steve just always likes to add that in. I don't think that was part of that trick. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Signature on top.
Right. Such
Then-
great flying.
He won the next week too.
Oh, Maddie Flip Madness.
Now we actually see some like
DVR.
DVR from Steve. Nice half Maddie there, and then Maddie flip.
So good.
That was like a 2-option week, so he did both options, I believe. That was option number 1.
See, and these are Maddie's without much reference, you know? Like in future videos, I think he had more of a reference point set up using the trampoline or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But some of these we're just looking up, you know? It'd be really hard. The only reference objects are way too far away to actually use. So at this point, you're just going all on feel. It's amazing.
He's definitely keeping them smooth more than like doing a flip and then flying backwards. Bonk.
Knocking down gates.
Took it down the whole stack. Then Steve didn't win week 32, but he had the most in IGOW with his, I believe it was
Yes, the speedy
20.
self loop.
20 loops in 45 seconds. But so he had the most in IGOW this week. Orange Stuff had 2 more than him.
Yep.
It was another.
Oh, I see.
awesome
I
week.
couldn't figure out what you meant by most in IGOW, but of the IGOW
Of the active
competitors.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
These
was
are
the first
good.
week Jesse joined us on stream.
Was it?
No, I did 1 week before that. Might have been. I felt like I had been around when I started watching these. I think I did 2 weeks before this one.
Alright, so you get the idea there.
Just imagine 20 of those.
And finals has begun.
Yep.
Saw the fist pump.
So Steve still. So, this is Steve's first round trick. He hadn't got a letter all the way. That was up till week 32. We just watched basically. And then he got his first letter the week before his trick came up on Daniel's first trick.
Yeah, he went into the finals with a clean slate.
So that was, how many weeks was that? Let's look real quick.
34? Or 35?
He got 34 weeks without a letter.
That's what it says. Like, it was
And
either
that's-
34 or 35 that he got his first letter.
Yeah.
And just to point out, nobody else did that. Nobody else could do that.
Daniel got his first, it was the other person that lasted the longest. And he got his first letter on week 28. So, very impressive from Steve.
Very.
So then Steve, for his first made-up trick, he went back to his old faithful of the
The spins.
inverted orbits.
I'm gonna take a pilgrimage to this light pole one day. To the land down under. I'm gonna go fly around this light pole.
Is this the same one? We'll have to ask Steve. I feel like the other one had more lights.
Right, just the
Did
Steve
it
K
have-
light
Did
pole.
it have 5 lights, or was it the same one?
Oh, now I'm wondering too. I feel like it's the same, but in my mind, as soon as you said that, I started to picture it with 5 lights, and I was like, oh yeah, definitely 5 lights.
How easy.
You probably could have said 7, and I could draw that picture.
So, this trick got everyone, right? Yep. He got a letter for everybody else that was left.
Mhm.
And knocked Sam out. Got Daniel a letter. Not because they couldn't quite pull it off, like the overall movement off, but they couldn't do it perfect.
Yeah, you
And
couldn't keep
leave
it
the
in the frame the whole
frame
time.
or leave the pole at the top. So then Steve's next trick that got Daniel a letter was this week, which was his Infinity War trick. It was like the 2 Maddie flips. Well, you'll see it here. And again, he got the he got Daniel to get a letter by making a requirement that was like pretty hard, where you have to keep the horizontal in the view of the camera while you're doing the Matty flips, which makes it real tricky. So that was week 40, and then so that put Daniel to WHOO, and Steve had WHO, and then this last week was week 41. Oops. And Steve had to complete Daniel's.
Daniel's UTT.
He needed to do 4 laps in less than 33 and a half seconds. So
33 and a half, you know.
Right? I just said 33.
So I want to explain this. So Daniel has to. Daniel makes the track, and then he tells me before he's run it, or not. I mean, he's run it, but he has to declare a time that he has to then beat after he declares it. So
yeah.
He can't just like run it and then whatever his fastest time is, Steve has to beat. So he has to pick something that he's pretty sure that he can get, but is also like fast enough that Steve can't get it. So
I wish I could ask him right now, like, did he pick a time that was about his average from practice, or did he pick a time that was like faster than his practice?
So
you know what I mean?
He was debating between 33 and 33 and a half. He'd only got under 33 once before. He'd run like 80 packs or something, and he'd only got under 33 one time. Like, he could get one lap that would be an average under that, but not 4 in a row.
Oh my gosh.
So he decided to go with 33 and a half to be safe, to make sure he could, because he got that several times. And then he got a 30, like a 32 point something, even lower the one time, so he was fine, which we'll see here in a second. But so Steve just has to complete the 33 and a half in under 4 laps to complete it. He doesn't have to beat Daniel's time.
Yeah, of course. He just has to complete the trick.
Yeah. So the track was a cube and a ladder and a window pane. You'll see here, pretty intricate. Lots of elements that you see in other tracks, which was cool.
You did a good job, like, creating all of those things.
Yep. So it starts, that's a lap right there, if you can tell, right at the front of the cube. So basically you have to average just over 8 seconds, 8 and an eighth would get you right there. So Steve had to set out, which I'm sure we'll talk about, to complete that in under 33 and a half. Daniel got a 32.14 there. And if he did, he would win, because that would give Daniel a letter. And if he didn't, it would be tied WHOO. So.
And this week would have been the finals.
Yeah, on Steve's last trick. So here's Steve's little video for this week.
Nice.
I don't even think I've seen this video.
Oh yeah.
That one was just about 8. Ooh, he's like right on pace to tie it like exactly. Ooh, that one put him slightly ahead. A little bit of a wider turn on that one.
Absolutely no way I could have done it.
That's what I'm talking about.
That is so good. Oh my god, the edit, everything was fantastic.
So he got it there, 33.28, just under, and he was doing it with a 25 gram 1S Whoop with the 803 motor.
That's
so not
a heavy
exactly
whoop.
like a great racing whoop. Which is part of the reason why he chose what he chose for the for his prize. Out of IGOW, he had option to choose a 5-inch, a Whoop, the Happy Model options, or the Beta FPV option, and he went with the Downtown Whoop, the tiny Whoop.
So he did go with the Michael Anderson whoop.
Because he's like, I need a light freestyle racer in my life. All right, so let's bring on Steve now.
Bring him in.
Bring Steve in. Let's get this.
Again, we need the sound effects. Woo!
We need the screen, like with the screen with the crowd going crazy, like he had in his video.
Okay. So I go like this. I stop for something. Boom. Hey,
Hello,
there's Steve.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, what's up? Steve, congratulations, man. It's a really incredible accomplishment to get to the top of IGOW.
Thanks,
You know,
Jesse.
oh yeah, and you knew before anybody that you had won it, right? I mean, your video proves that you knew that you had accomplished everything.
Yep.
So, Dan, I didn't mean to just dive right into it, but I actually do have a bunch of questions.
Yeah, just go for it. I'm just
Okay,
trying to, like, put
so
Steve's name here.
one thing I wanted to ask is I know that there was a point in this competition when we just knew that everybody left was a champion, you know, at the very least by finals. There was a point before that that,
I know. Well, I think
you know, you made a statement.
the thing
Oh, sorry. I thought I heard Dan for a second. You made a statement to the community and said that you were a major, you know, contender. And I want to ask Dan at some point when that was for him. But Dan Daylight Walston isn't here right now. He couldn't make it today. But what was the point where you saw his skills and knew that he was one of your competitors?
Oh,
Not you.
Me?
No.
Or
he's
Daylight?
asking Steve.
Okay, I thought he was asking me when I thought Steve was a competitor. Okay.
No. Yeah.
No,
Daylight.
he's asking Steve when he thought
I'd like to know
Okay.
that one too.
Okay.
so daylight the whole time through. I think there was a week where we had to do a bunch of tricks together. It was like the list. I think Dan can tell me which one that was. When I won this shirt, actually.
Oh yeah.
I
Week
got
12.
shirt. Yeah, week 12. So you had to put together a bunch of tricks in a row, and I went out and did it really fast so that I could win the shirt. But then I think Daylight's video then was like he did the whole thing twice back to back. That's when he started doing everything like twice. Like how much?
Making a huge statement, just flexing super hard in every video. I mean,
Yeah.
that was my first impression of him. Was like, there's the trick. There now on that same battery. Look at this stuff.
Yeah. So I was like, oh man, I don't know, but whatever. I won the shirt because I had to get it in. I think he might have won the week. But then the whole time through, you could just tell like when he did the tricks, like they'd be back to back and just sort of perfect. And he's got this like style. I think he was using like a 2S 65mm loop.
Yeah. He was 1S a lot of the time. Dan Skittles can correct me if I'm wrong. I think he was 1S almost the whole competition. Is that wrong?
Daylight? No,
Yeah.
he used the 2S 65mm a lot.
Okay. The ones that I was asking about was always a 1S.
Yeah, I think he used mostly 65mm, if I'm not mistaken. Most of his whoops are that. He has some bigger ones, but he has lots of whoops. But Steve, how many whoops do you have? That's what I wanted to ask you first. Like for the competition, how many did you use?
Yeah. You know how there's that philosophical question of when you've changed all the parts on a boat, is it still the same boat?
Uh-huh.
So I probably had 5 all up.
Totally.
Stood 'em.
But they're always changing and being repaired, you know.
Yeah, and parts flipping over between each other
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah. So now I think I've basically just got one GoPro whoop, you know, one brushed, one brushless,
Typically,
and
how
then
many?
just another sort of spare parts.
Like how many working
Awesome.
at a time during the competition?
Normally 3.
Like 3. Okay. So not
Yeah,
not a
but
ton.
I'm gonna
like there were
I'm
points where I'd only have one, and I was scrounging for parts, and I had to call friends and get them to send motors because in Australia you can't get parts so quickly. So that was always scary when I was doing a trick. I'm like, if I break something, that's it, I'm out.
And you
Yeah, that's
lasted.
I was going to say that one thing that I noticed being around a bunch of DRL pilots or being around the champions at a multi-GPIO event or something is that everybody is on a completely different level than most of the people hanging out. Like all these pros are on just a different level, and what puts them on that level isn't it's not like a general criteria. It's not like a list of stuff that they can do. It's their approach towards their passion and the way they train. Usually it comes down to the way they train. But everybody, once they get to a certain level of achieving greatness in flight, they don't all become similar. They all become really, really different. And people that are on the top, even if you just stay in racing, forget about freestyle, people that have achieved greatness in their racing style, they'll have really different flavors. And most of them develop that style all on their own without a mentor. They got this new flavor. I don't know a better word to describe it. New flavor of flight that they made and are developing in the face of their fans. And I wanted to ask you, to me, I see you as a disciple of the great Matty Stunts, and I'm a big fan of his. And he's, I really love what he brought to the hobby a few years ago when he was really active. And I see that. I also think that one of the things that really sets you apart is filming with the naked GoPro on a tiny quad. A lot of people it's really hip to do right now, but the level that you're taking it to, those are the two things that really stand out about your style to me. So I wanted to see, first of all, if that's how you view your flavor, and also how do you characterize Daniel Daylight's?
Yeah, sure. Matty's stuff, like the Matty flips and that, I think I have sort of leaned towards, especially in this competition, because you can, when you start doing things where you're facing backwards and it looks like the quad's flying upside down, if you don't understand how it works properly, just interests me because I like the idea of doing something that confuses someone or makes them go, oh, how does that work? So generally, if I think about like what's my flavor and what I like to do, it's maybe expanded from that. It's take something that shouldn't be able to do a thing and do it. So it used to be, I think my first videos on YouTube was, and I started out in 5-inch with a Wizard X220, and everyone was, sort of trashing those, but I'd take them to a race and try and win a race with it, or try and get a good freestyle video out of it, something like that. And same with the naked GoPro work. I'm like, it's all well and good to get cinematic, but let's try and do some freestyle with a naked whoop, or do a Matty flip with a tiny whoop. Was before IGOW, I was just trying to do stuff that people thought you needed a 6S 5-inch for, and really just break it down and go, you can do it with minimal power. You just have to be at full throttle the whole time and be careful with the sticks. Yeah. So I think that's what I try to do. And then Daylight, like, man, there's sort of just like a comfortable style to. You watch some of his freestyle after he does a trick. Like sometimes he just throws in a bit of flying outside of these sort of set tricks we've got in IGOW, and that's always enjoyable to watch because he's just got this sort of flow and moving on to the next thing. And it's sort of hard to describe though, right? Like.
I know what you mean when you talk about his flow being unique. I totally agree. The way it's almost frenzied, It's very, very accurate. It makes you wonder if he's punched the reset button on a simulator a billion times. I don't think he's flown a whole lot of sim. He just started simming not too long ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy style of flight, and it's really fun to watch daylight's footage because you don't expect all of that stuff to weave together and keep happening. It's like what, and he just keeps adding more to it.
Yeah, it's sort of like a blending of race and freestyle, almost. Like he's really just pushing into the next trick really quickly, which you sort of have to do for whoops, because they're lighter. You're going to be pushing harder into the next thing, so that you've got a bit of momentum to carry through.
When you said that, you talked about all the Matty stuff that you're into and the mind-bending experience. When Matty Stunts first started releasing those videos, they made such a huge splash, and he was flying around those tall trees with a 5-inch and doing exactly the same kind of stuff you're doing, maybe a little bit different. But a whole bunch of people, when they found out that his camera angle was 45 to 65 degrees sometimes, a bunch of people sort of said, it's a trick. It's BS. It's just a trick, and I'm thinking it's not as hard to do. And then they would go out and try it and find out that it's obviously there is like a little bit of mind bending happening with the high camera angle, but it is absolutely an art form that not anybody can do. So when it comes to your tricks in this competition, sometimes you had requirements for your tricks about keeping things in the frame, and that's actually what put Dan out, and what you might consider that it's what beat him if you look at that one round. And so back in the day, I'm setting up a long question, but I'm trying to ask it because it's a little touchy. People used to accuse Matty Stunts of using a trick, and they were all wrong. What would you say if somebody looked at your requirement for keeping something in view and the option of camera field of view and camera angle, and said that they wanted to focus more on the skill of the trick than whatever kind of trick, the same kind of thing they accused Matty of back in the day, wrongfully so, by the way?
There's maybe 2 points to that. I sort of thought about that when I was setting the requirements. So when we got into the finals, I was sort of left with, do I just essentially, bow out, set some basic stuff because I know some of these guys are better pilots than me, or do I really lean into trying to figure out how to win this thing? And I guess the cool thing about IGOW is it's not just you're not just figuring out who's the best pilot here, who's got the most skill in this one area. It's can you play this game? It's a game of wood. So I just tried to look at what I thought my strengths were and what I could practice and get good at, and see what the other guys had done in their tricks. I didn't go and study with their old videos or anything, but just knowing that one of my favorite things is actually keeping stuff in view and orbiting it and sort of getting this like 360 view of things, whether it's over the top or around, and you just get that perspective. Like even just the first time you orbit a light pole, when you get a quad, you're like, whoa, that looks so cool. The background's rushing around, and you got the thing in the middle. So it's sort of a mix of what I liked and what I knew can get pretty hard. And you can have 90-degree camera angle if you want, but try and fly in a straight line through a cube. So it's a risk reward, like trying to come up with a trick that had like a horizontal element and a vertical element. So the higher you had the camera angle to keep the bar in view, the harder it was to move through the cube and stuff. So that was the idea. I was trying to make something that worked.
It's brilliant. And the reason I was really asking is because when you look at the final trick, and we all just loved watching your video, but when you look at Daniel's final challenge for you, it's a UTT. And it's sort of, when I'm watching it, I see it as an instructional video as opposed to your videos, which are not instructional videos. You could look at Daniel's UTT, and you said you weren't analyzing their old footage. I bet you analyzed that one. I bet you looked at his UTT path, his race line.
Oh,
And you can see the places where he's getting a bit wide, and he does get wider than you. Even though you got a slower time than him, you had a better Jacob's ladder, I think.
That was exactly the thing where I was like, oh, my ladder's faster at least.
Yeah. Your Jacob's ladder was excellent. So I'm sort of saying, you talk about playing this game. This is one way I think you played it. His trick to you was instructional that revealed his weaknesses. Your tricks to him were kind of a mind F that weren't clearly explained. Sometimes they involved high camera angle or wide field of view. Those things are not obvious to the solution to the trick. The way in Daniel's tricks, the solution was pretty much taught to you. Not to say, I feel like when I'm saying all this, I need to be crystal clear. You are the worthy champion, and there is no way anybody could ever question that. Look at your series of videos. Nobody's ever going to think the best man didn't win. The best man won 100%. But talking about the dynamics of the game, because that's one of the things that's most interesting to me about the International Game of Whoop, it is a different kind of competition. And the more we play it, we're going to find the tools you have to play the game with are really relevant. Yeah. So I think that's something awesome about your play style.
Thanks. Yeah, I think all games, like even racing, has its own sort of meta game that the guys at the top have to play, whether it's mind games between races and trying to figure out how to keep you cool and that. Like we're
talking
not
trash.
Yeah, because it's not a time trial that you do at home and it's just whoever got the fastest time in the sim, where everyone's separate and you just show who's best. Like all of these events, and I think people really want actually competition where it involves a bit of everything. It's like, who can commit a few days straight, and I think it took me 150 or 180 packs or something to get that time, the UTT done.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh
my
God.
Took me heaps. Like, but that's part of the game, right? You got a week, so if you can put the time into it, then you can do it. But
that's a tribute to Daniel. It's a huge tribute to his time, which was, by the way, faster than yours.
Yeah.
You would put in 100 packs.
Or something. Yeah.
100 packs.
Yeah.
I mean, incredible
As
tribute to Dan.
I think I was about 50 packs in, and I went and looked back at his video because I was like, what am I missing here? Why is this faster? And I realized he was just at so much, the actual quad was at a much steeper angle. And I was thinking like, his probably weighs like under 20 grams, mine's over 25. Like, maybe it's just, once you start getting lighter, you can turn faster and that. I was like, all right, well, I can't do anything about it. I have no time to get a different whoop. I'm just going to have to just drill it until I get faster. And,
Nevertheless, man, asking questions like that is exactly analysis of your competitor.
Right.
You're going through it. You're looking for him pulling a SteveK. You're looking for him possibly, using a steeper angle that isn't so obvious the first time you're watching it. That's awesome. I think it couldn't have been a better finish to the competition. And,
a nice objective finish, I think. I was happy that it was at least, you got to get this time, and then...
there was no question mark.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing you could ever call into question is something like measurements, but that would be ludicrous at this point. Nobody's ever going to do that. It's a totally crystal clear win. And I also love that it came down to the whoop, skate, horse style finish where you beat the trick that was proposed. And look at what he put into it too. He said, how many batteries did you say he did, Dan? Getting ready to try to decide between 30 or 33, 33 or 33 and a half?
I said like 80 or something.
Unbelievable finals, dude.
Yeah.
And that's,
they both, it really came down to who was like, had enough time and was willing to really put in the effort to complete the tricks. Because they got to the point where if you were playing an actual game of, I don't know, maybe, Steve, how many of the tricks could you actually do, like, if it was an actual game of Whoop where you just had to pull it off the first time? Can you do the mad flips, like, through the hoops every single time now?
Now, yeah, if we went back and redid IGOW, as we sort of got further on, I realized that I can do stuff much more consistently. So I think if you redid it all, it'd be like, you know, sort of 5 packs. Like the isolation game stuff, I think I've done first pack for most things.
Yeah, so now it's like, it's hard because when you have a week to make a trick that someone like maybe or maybe can't pull off when they can try as many times as they want, really is a lot different than just playing a game where you would do it live and you have to do it the first time. So
yeah,
We'll do that on the sim
I'm a little
someday.
confused about that.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking when we were talking about what to do for the finals, I thought it would be cool to have a live stream where Dan says, like, all right, you know, all of you guys set up a DVR or, you know, some sort of separate monitor in front of your webcam, and he tells us a trick to do, and we've got an hour there in front of everyone to try and do it.
That would
I reckon that'd be pretty cool.
Right. That would be a fun thing to maybe.
But that would be a
attempt in the
very
future.
It's a different
But it
game.
would be a very different game. Yeah, I
Yeah,
want to
that
point
would
that
be-
out. We can criticize the rules of this game, but we all agreed to them, and
Right.
that would just be a different game.
Oh yeah, and doing
But a good
something-
one.
Yeah, doing something
Hey guys, there's a
online
question
like
here
that.
from Ishti that I wanted to answer. Is
Oh.
that all right?
What do you say?
A question for
There's
Steve.
a question from Ishti.
Uh,
So,
what was your
he said-
motivation to keep on working on the track for 150 packs and not just say F it? I'm good with second place.
So, my motivation was entirely my wife, because I literally walked out of the room where I was trying it and just went, this is taking too long, it's too hard, I don't want to do this anymore. And she's like, no, you've come this far. You've given this many weeks to it, you're going to go back in there and keep going until you get it. It's like, yes, ma'am.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
That is so
Yeah.
awesome.
I have a couple
Yeah.
questions.
That's
for you,
amazing, man.
Steve, did you
Yeah,
think-
and
Wait, let me ask
Yeah.
a couple questions. Did you think if you didn't completed this week that Daniel would be able to do the trick you had made up next? Like how confident did
think
you
so.
feel?
Not confident at all. I thought there was maybe, if I didn't get this, I thought it was basically a 5% chance that he wouldn't get the trick that I set. So I was treating it as this is first place or not. Because he showed from the previous one that I set where he only failed it because of, you know, a few frames.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the next trick I set was sort of the same. It was the same vein of thing, but it was rolling self orbits as well, and a inverted orbit through my legs. So it's the type of thing you could have eventually done, I think.
Nice. Is that part of your
I would love
motivation
that.
to keep going? This for the UTT?
Oh yeah, I mean, knowing that it was just the end, like it was the end of a long road. You know, it would keep me going for a bit, and then I get frustrated because I couldn't get faster, or it would just be crash after crash. I ended up having to put earphones in so I couldn't hear the whoop motors anymore, because every time I bumped into something, the sort of loud wah would just annoy me too much. I'm like, all right, I'm listening to loud music while doing this.
nice.
Alright. So I have a question.
Okay.
With you having what we have now discovered is an essential job, and also having a family and children things, was there a point in time in the competition when it went from this is something fun to this is something that I can actually do even though I have a million different responsibilities going on, compared to the Daniel Daylights of the world who are 14 years old and their responsibilities are drones?
I mean, it's sort of, yeah, it's a hard thing because you can just go, you know what, there's more important things in life to be doing right now. And I think one of the weeks where I didn't even attempt Daylight's trick, the first one, there's a possibility I could have done it, and I went, you know what, and that was just when the whole pandemic thing was happening. I was like, you know what, I've got to just keep saying I'm working from home today, and this is just too much for me to be thinking about this. But then I went, you know, like, this is a great escape. I'm going to keep doing this. But again, it was just my wife, Kate, was just like, you know, can you just do this? You've committed so much. It'd be amazing if you could keep going. So it was the same sort of thing there. But yeah, another point I thought of though was, so Daylight's, you know, a bit younger and he can just commit all this time to it, right? But that's not necessarily true, because he's got school, and I know he doesn't necessarily do it every day. I think Dan was telling me at the end there that he would, be trying it on the weekend or something, because I'd be asking, has he done my trick yet? So I imagine there's a little bit of, his mum might have said to him, I want you to do your schoolwork first, or do this first. Whereas, I as an adult can go, what, I'm taking annual leave for a week from work, and I'm going to smash this out.
That is
oh
true.
my gosh, that is awesome. Wow.
Right, Jesse, you have any more questions?
No, I feel like that's all my questions. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to announce anything?
Sure. Yeah, I was wondering if I should get to that next, and I don't know if you know this, Steve, but I talked with Dan at the beginning of this competition, and this is I was really hesitant to announce this, just like I will be for IGOW 2. But you are an incredibly skilled person. You're a really hard worker and an amazing human being, and I would really be honored to offer you a sponsorship from tinywhoop.com and have you join our official team pilot roster. Would just mean the world to me. You're the perfect, and it's not thanks, Liz. Not just about your pilot skill or your accomplishment, which is an unbelievable accomplishment, but you obviously understand the spirit of Tiny Whoop and the value of the community and the culture that Dan and Liz are playing a huge part of and pushing forward, and the way people achieve greatness and have a lot of fun and doing all of that during a pandemic. It's just inspiring to me, and it would mean a lot to me to have you on the team.
Yeah, Jesse, thanks, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's an honor. Thank you. That'd be
The honor is mine.
Yay,
Excellent.
congratulations, Steve.
Congratulations, Steve.
So,
excellent.
Like I said, this is something that I would like to do for, IGOW is just a one-of-a-kind competition. It has brought, I think a lot of the people that truly achieved greatness in IGOW didn't see it coming even for themselves, didn't know the kind of person they were, didn't know that they were about to take their passion, their skill to a totally different level. And IGOW doesn't have a gigantic fan base. It's not DRL, it's not even multi-GP, but it is absolutely an intense path, on a long path to incredible greatness. And everybody that knows about IGOW knows that. Every participant knows that. And a lot of fans and people in the Tiny Whoop community know that. So I want, this is something that I'll probably try to do again for IGOW 2. But the reason I couldn't make it really public and obvious, even though I do want to inspire people to compete and join, is the character of the pilots on our team is more important than their skill level, and the way they treat the community and the way they help their friends or somebody that has a question getting into it is way more important than their skill. So I don't want, it's possible that we could have a champion and then turns out the champion's an asshole. We found that out many times in the past. It's possible that the fastest racer is totally not someone I ever want to represent Tiny Whoop, but this is not like that. This isn't like that. So hopefully it won't be like that for IGOW 2 either. But
so you've got an asshole clause. You'll offer it, but you got to get out of. Sorry, it's gonna be an awkward live stream, Jesse.
It's gonna be an awkward live stream when the champion of IGOW 2 doesn't get.
Cool.
All right. Awesome.
What
all right,
up,
sweet.
Kobe?
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Of course. Thank you for joining us at 6:30 in the morning.
If it is your time.
Oh yeah, no problem. 7:15 now. I've had my coffee. Hey, can I just say before I go, thanks Dan and Liz for running this thing. It's been so good. I stopped flying 5-inch a bit before IGOW started, and I didn't have a reason to be flying as much. And then Dan just messaged me and was like, "Hey, do you want to be in this game of work thing I'm starting up?" And man, it's totally, it's been almost a year that we've been doing it. So yeah, just really thankful that you put that effort in, because you're doing this just for your own fun and not getting heaps of thanks in that for it. So I just really want to say to both of you guys for putting in the work. It's been really great.
I'll second that. Congratulations to Dan and Liz for pulling off a 41-week IGOW 1. It's been so fun. I'm gonna give you guys a round of applause.
Yeah.
Everybody
Agreed.
at home is clapping too.
Clap emojis.
I want to give a thank you to you guys. I mean, and especially like Steve and Jesse and everybody who's participated. I remember when Danny started this, it was literally like he was tired of seeing like the same 8 people do the battles in the battle group every single week. And he's like, I need to get away for more people to just be involved in this and have something that we're going to have more than just these same people compete. And for it to turn into something that was 116 pilots in 4 continents and however many countries and to last 41 weeks is because of like people like you who just thoroughly enjoyed what we did. And I thank you guys.
Did I message you, Steve, or did you hear about it like in a video?
No, you messaged me. I think
I
you
remember.
got out a few different ways.
Yeah, because I think I remember seeing one of your Beta 65X videos when it first came out, and you were like flying around a playground, doing some crazy freestyle, and I was like, you need to message that guy.
Cool. Yeah, no, I'm glad you messaged me. I would have missed out.
And that's what I was going to say. When Dan started this, when I finally woke up to how big of a deal IGOW is as far as an influence on our culture and the lives of the competitors, which is a really big influence in my opinion. When I finally woke up to that, I met Dan and I was like, how did you bring together all these people? How are you going through 80 videos a week right now? I've done all these competitions. I have the biggest Facebook group, and I'm trying to make these competitions and get pilots to submit videos. And I've done submit a video about an animal. I did a challenge where people had to go through a certain gap on a cat because there's one gap that's really hard, not the cross gap, but through the front legs going backwards is a really hard gap. So I've done all these fun challenges like that. And I can't get people to submit videos. And when I asked him how he did it, that's what he said. He messaged a ton of people. And when he found a video that was posted showing off some freestyle, he'd go leave a comment that was like, hey, there's this competition happening. And that incredible legwork started this train that's now, a runaway train. It led to Dan. Dan and Liz and I are friends that get to hang out a lot of nights a week in like a video chat during social isolation. And tons of times, late at night, they are not available because they're making IGOW videos a couple nights a week, or Dan is wrangling me and other judges to come up with, a ranking. And it is a tireless, thankless job that I am really bad at. And I really appreciate Dan and Liz's work. And yeah, I don't want to leave Liz out on anything, but I see Dan as a major MVP in a brand new movement. So Dan, congratulations to you too, and thank you so much. And I'm so proud to have gotten to be your friend through this whole thing also.
Oh, thanks, Jesse.
Thanks. Yeah, super props to my husband. I'm here mostly as moral support. I put in some work, but IGOW would be absolutely nothing upon what it is if it wasn't for the incessant hours that he puts forth towards making sure that it's something that everybody enjoys.
Trying to make it entertaining.
Yeah.
Anyway, congratulations, Steve. You definitely
Congratulations,
earned
Steve.
it with your effort and dedication over the last 41 weeks. True IGOW champion.
Right.
All right.
Appreciate everything. I hear your kids in the background now.
Everyone's waking up and making noise.
Right.
All right. Have a great day, Steve.
Have a good
day.
day.
Guys. Yeah, you too.
All right.
Oh,
that was
did
fun.
It for us.
All right, he hung up. It worked perfect.
We
Bam.
can just hopefully switch over here.
Oh, look at that awesomeness. You actually have something set up proper. That was a nice, even transition. Look at us looking all professional.
Started on time today. That was pretty good. That was a good interview. I felt good about that.
That was fun. That was really fun.
That was good.
All right.
Yeah, I'm still
nice
kind of lit up from that.
Right? It's nice to learn all those things and to just see, I don't know, I guess kind of just learn the mindset of somebody who was able to take it 41 weeks in a competition and to see the support from his wife of like, no, get your butt in there and you finish this. Like, you worked so
after 50
hard.
packs, and then he goes on to do 115 packs,
right?
Chasing this 14-year-old child prodigy, and then defeating him.
It's just
unbelievable
amazing.
Story. You know, it does make me really believe again that, you know, IGOW, it's a big part of all Tiny Whoop now, but it makes me want to give IGOW a huge audience because these stories, I really am inspired by these pilots and these stories, you know, and that story, that should go out to everybody should know about it. Everybody should be inspired by these people.
Right?
Yeah, definitely, because without the competitor, like, if Daniel and Steve weren't there, the end wouldn't have been nearly as exciting.
Yeah, and Daniel, we should do another interview with Daniel too.
He said
we really
come
should.
On next week.
It would be fascinating, dude. It would be as fun as this one.
He said he can come on next week, so.
That'll be I think that'll be a fantastic interview because it's an entirely different mindset. I could only imagine being 14 years old and having to like compete with people who you probably feel are so much better than you just because they're older. I remember being a kid and shoot, I'm 34 now and I feel like people are better than me just because they're older. Older means that you're wiser, means that you have more time. There's just all of these things that you think of. So to be like
he took
a child and make it like this far and to work this hard and to be able to compete with some amazing pilots is a fantastic thing.
And his story was also he became Daniel Daylight during IGOW. You know, he became the pilot that he is during IGOW, and he chose to take on someone like SteveK, which is a really incredible path to go down. You know, it's just I can't wait to interview him. That'll be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
All right. So let's jump into the isolation games. We've got only
2 weeks left.
Yes, only 2 weeks left. This was P week, so there will be some people that have already spelt Whoop, and they're going to be in the champions giveaway. And but they should still try to do the next week's trick because they can get an extra entry into the giveaway. Anyway, the trick this week was the indoor Rubik's Cube challenge. You had to do a Rubik's Cube and a Cubik's Rube, not necessarily in the same clip, but you had to do those two tricks where there's a ceiling of 10 feet or less. So basically inside, or as you'll see, some people did it like Sam did it in a plaza where there was a ceiling. So let's jump into the tricks. So first up, we've got Fedor Ishti. That's oh wait, Jesse, I have to share with you so you can.
I was going to request that. Yeah, I was just about to bring that up.
Like Jesse's like, I'm just here.
I've seen all this, but I kind of want to see it again. And I feel like I feel like I should give you a warning. I'm really happy that interview. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yep.
I'm really happy that interview went as long as it did, but I may not be able to hang out for all 8 of these videos after.
That's fine.
I may not make it through. I mean, I told my family I'd be able to get on the road around 3:30, but I could push it a little bit. So I just wanted to give you that warning. But
that's fine.
Right.
Yeah. You can hop out whenever you have to go.
Yep.
Thanks, bros.
Okay, so Fedor Ishti.
Please fix the poor man's country typo.
I did fix it. Oh, I fixed it on the other one though.
Oh.
I fixed it on the main because you can put comments on here.
Nice.
I fixed it on the
classic American.
Yeah. Ishti wrote like an explanation of how that's just the feeling of hungry and the country is different. I was like,
yeah, maybe it's you should have another category on the spreadsheet next to country that's like hunger level. Just put it next to his. Just say hungry.
All right.
Or spell it with an A. Hungry with an A on that part. Hey,
Skittles the dog, Skittles the pilot.
So Ishti's is an attempt.
Always in the art room. Love the art room.
So
I know, like who practices low ceiling indoor Rubik's cubes in the art room? I love your style, man.
So good.
Getting close, but not quite. Kind of did like double flips.
Pretty awesome.
Right?
But
Hey,
he got in attempts.
hey, it's better than I would do.
And he can still spell whoop next week by pulling off the wildcard challenge.
I'm still figuring out my timing in acro, so I wind up mostly just like diving into the ground because I can't level back out properly.
This is a hard trick to do inside. That's part of the reason I made you have to do it inside. Outside, it's more trivial.
Facebook killed the music. Of course they did.
Another tiny room. Look at this
Yeah.
tiny room.
I like how he put down a couple
Right?
pillows.
We got pillows in a bag. Let's protect ourselves here.
Cool.
Nice. Does he give us a slow-mo? Let's see. Yes. So it starts off with the Rubik's Cube. Nice. Half front flip and then a full roll, another half front flip. And that's the Cubic's Rube. A half roll, a full flip. Another half roll. Nice job
Hey,
from
I got-
USA.
I got a quick question that I really wish I would have asked Steve, and now it's burning on me so much that I want to ask you, Dan.
What's up?
When Steve was doing those 115 batteries trying to catch Daniel Daylight on his UTT, did he go through all that footage later to look for the fast one, or did he have a timer somehow? How did he know when he beat it?
I don't know.
Is that a question I have to ask him? I'll ask him.
Yeah.
Typically, you kind of know, like,
This is
Yeah,
faster.
I
This is
agree.
fast.
I agree with that.
and then you
Yeah.
go back and check. Also, you can check how I do it when after I've run like a whole bunch of laps. I just kind of look at the the OSD timer and I write down like all the times I pass, and then I find a chunk that could potentially be my faster
okay.
one, and then I
Alright.
go back and put in the timer. So it's not like, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have like a timer there, like calling out times for him. But he probably knows, like, if he
He
started.
can feel it. He's
Yeah.
a pro. He can feel it.
So after that many, like that was a good one.
Yeah, he'd
especially
be
on
like,
things-
yeah, that was a 33.6. So I'm gonna go a little more.
I think you know that, like, that was a good lap, and then you're like, oh,
Oh,
that was
Steve's here.
Oh, he knew it was a good run, and then he came. Okay, so
He said, yep, came out with a big smile on his face after it, and then confirmed it in Premiere.
34 on OSD. That's so funny.
it's just there.
Alright, so then you're just like, now I need to see it frame by frame. If it's 34 on your OSD, frame by frame.
Yep.
Nice. All right. So
Alright.
next up we've got Zach Barnes. That's ZBFPV. Zach was here, right?
Yep.
Another attempt for Zach. He attempted the last 2 weeks, was not able to pull it off. But let's see the
Hey,
video.
that's
he made.
okay.
Oh, we've got some Joe Exotic.
Kate says, you ran out. I got it! Welcome to the chat, Mrs. Kind.
Yeah.
He's got a Carol Baskin like remix in the background. That's great.
Oh, really? I wish I
Ooh.
could hear it.
That one was pretty close.
So good.
That might have been the scene where he was talking about his ex-husband, his deceased husband.
Yeah.
That was one of the most painful scenes. I'm not going to go into it.
I heard they have new footage coming out.
Ooh.
I'm sick of that. Netflix needs to fire the guy who hosted episode 8. You know what I mean? That was the worst episode ever. Huge buzzkill on the entire series.
I put them out of order slightly. Well, somehow I put average a little too low. But
Oh,
he's up right now.
all right. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna take this week.
Yep. So Sam.
Hey, we've got
Widener,
Kate Kind in the chat, by the way.
Yep.
average
Said
FPV.
said. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, go for it.
I was just gonna say Kate Kind. That's Stephen K's wife.
Yeah.
Is in the chat saying that he ran out of the room yelling "I got it" before he knew the time. And we got Carlito in the chat saying that she's the best wife in the world. You are the best wife, from what he said.
Yeah, definitely. Because if she was like, "Why are you flying your whoop so much?"
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't have won.
I mean,
But no, she was super supportive and like, no, get back in there. Finish what you started.
All right. Sam Widener, average FPV from Switzerland, calling it right here. He's going to take this week in his post.
Ooh.
I love
His
it.
top
Love
video
that.
of the week.
So good.
Nice. Rubik's Cube. Another Rubik's.
Double up.
I like that he does it like
Ooh,
through those like V's.
Yeah. 3 Rubik's
Triple up.
so far. That was a.
Yeah, he's
Rubik's
almost
Cube,
making
that was
it a gap.
clean one, too.
Yeah. I mean, that was when we did this trick originally. That was like part of the extras. Like you had to do it through a gap.
And then huge.
But what's
power
happening
loop.
right now?
Huge power loop over the whole
That
building.
is a blind. I mean, if you ask me, yes, it's a power loop, but it's also a blind building dive, which is something that I have thought a lot about, and this one took a couple tries. Well done.
Nice. Rubik's Rube. Oh, super clean ones. Great job from Sam there. Top video selection of the week.
Good
All right.
job. All right. So next up we have Pedro.
No, I messed him up.
Oh, you messed him
somehow.
up. Oh, so next up is SteveK. That's Stephen Kind
Who's that?
from Australia. And who would that be?
Who's Steve K?
That
All right, so here's Steve K showing off some of his HD.
85.
Look at this tiny room. Once again, we're back in the tiny room.
Yep, back in the
Right.
room
Okay.
where he won the.
Who does an HD Rubik's Cube in this tiny room?
Right? I was impressed with the fact that he
And
came
Cubic's
in
room.
and he was just like, basically, it was like, let me hover in place. Okay, do.
There you go. It's
Do. Like, dude, it's hard enough to do it while flying. Like, to just come in and hover and do it, like, so impressive.
And he does them both in the same clip. After he does the Rubik's Cube, he just flies around and.
Yeah. That was just absolutely amazing to me.
Very nice from Steve. And the other top video selection of the week.
Yeah.
We only had 2 top videos this week because only 8 people actually completed it, and Steve and Sam were the only ones that did it in the same clip.
Very nice. All right. So next up, we've got Yannick LePage. That's Prox.
Who's moving?
From Zottingham, Belgium. Who has a woo.
There's a tiny little. Somebody point out in the chat. Somebody's moving a mouse over my face, and they're right.
Because I
a little.
can't. If I take your window and I close it down like this, then you disappear.
Oh, okay.
So I have to leave you up, and I have to like try to push you off to the side. But then every time I mouse over you, it shows up.
Okay.
Even-
I'm not trying to screw with the stream. I was just like, yeah, there is a little something by.
Yeah.
First, I thought there was something actually on my face.
So
and then it
I
moved.
try to hide you over here, but then every time I go to that side of the screen, it goes.
We're going to
over
have to
there.
get a second monitor where we can just put things over
Yeah.
and then have
If we
what we
had
need
a-
on the
If
main.
we had a fancy like setup down here. All right, what was I doing? Adding this page. So
IGOW 2 will be much better. We'll get it figured out.
Everyone join the Patreon and we can buy a.
Right? Hook up the Patreon and we can get a way better OBS.
I'm just laughing at Carlito in the chat. The Rubik's Crash. I'm really good at those.
Right?
Oh, I can't quite get to Jesse's nose.
There we go. That's what mine look like.
Oh, you're trying to get my nose? I'm going to dodge it. You're satisfying Carlito's request of picking my nose with the mouse.
Hey, me and Yannick are on the same level with the Rubik's Cubes.
I like how everyone's putting down stuff to save.
With a
the weeks.
live mouse.
Saving their whoops with the
You gotta
the
say that.
blankets and the pillows.
Especially since it's like required to be outdoors. You don't have the comfort of your nice grass to just like land on.
Mm-hmm. I was just gonna say that. Well, guys, I'm really sorry, but I think I have to say goodbye.
All right.
No worries.
I hope that's okay.
Top videos.
Say hello to your sister.
Yes.
I will.
Family.
I will. And thank you guys so much. This is my favorite live stream so far. I really want to stay. I'm just getting some pressure. Gotta go down the road.
All good. Join us on the next
So
one.
let everybody in the chat. Let's all hang out next week. Enjoy the rest of the show. Adios.
All right. Adios.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Just excellent.
Yep. But now you've got the screen still sharing. There you go.
Boom. All right. Good job, Yannick. Nice attempt. So he will have to attempt to get into the Champions giveaway next week.
Well, so yes, Yannick, if you are capable of completing the Wild Card Week video by tomorrow midnight Pacific Standard Time, you are capable of still getting into the Champions giveaway.
That was where all the people before. Look, at 12. Everyone else submitted with less than 12 hours left.
Wow.
All right.
All right, so we've got Pedro Caceres, that's Pino151, who has Whoop.
He won last week.
Yes, he won last week. As we can see, he was capable of completing Pee-wee. And that's right, Pedro is just from somewhere in this large, vast continent. Potentially from the other two states not connected to our continent.
Oh, now we got full volume. Every time we have like someone else on, it just lowers the volume.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't want this. We gotta figure that out. So like, we can I need OBS and to set up a few scenes. Yes, I do.
Yeah, we've got to figure it out.
We have, what is this one called? XSplit.
Yeah, XSplit.
And I have two scenes, like I have the other scene set up and this scene set up.
You just gotta practice more.
I tried to
I
tried to do it where I had all the web pages preloaded, remember? And then they just all played when we came in.
Right.
Once.
I like the fact that he's doing a really good job of his Rubik's Cubes and Kubik's Rubes. And he's got an angled ceiling, so he doesn't even have a consistent 10 feet going.
Yes. Very nice.
Good job.
I like those little, like, stall things he does when he comes back and lands next to himself. Like,
Whoop, whoop. Very nice.
Great job, Christina. I like the celebration when he got it done.
Aww. I'm gonna say, we had a UK player whose apartment seemed pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
Deitch, he always did it like in his kitchen. I remember one week he had a chair like leaned up between his table and his fridge. Like that's how small it was. Like that his chair balanced on the table, leaned against the fridge.
Very nice job from Pedro in the Champions giveaway. All right, next up we've got Nitsudo FPV, and that's Dustin Johnson from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He also completed it, so he's now in the Champions giveaway. Let's check out his video. Oh, we have
yeah, regular IGOW, all the tricks are not indoors.
Oh yeah. This one, they weren't all indoors. It was just
indoor capable.
One was, yeah. Because it totally changes the difficulty of the outside. Really nice Rubik's Cube there from Dustin. Shoot it through.
You gotta be able to pull out of it really well if you only have so much space. If you're outside, you could be 300 feet up in the air and just be like, yoop.
Yep, you have a lot more time to react. Nice job from Nitsudo.
All
Getting
right.
it done. Getting into the Champions giveaway.
Good job. Right. Next up, we've got Chris Landa, that's Style Sucks from Vienna, Austria, who has who?
Yes. This was just an attempt because he says he had to weigh up his degrees per second in order to pull off the Rubik's Cube, but then he He didn't realize you also had to do a Cubik's Rube.
Oh.
But let's check out his Rubik's Cube. Nice. Just barely pulled it off. I just barely avoid stepping.
Right?
Nice job, Chris. That's really tough. I wasn't able to do it. I can do it in the warehouse at work, but that's like...
You got much higher ceilings in the warehouse.
25, 30-foot ceiling. I can't do it inside our house.
All right. So next up, we've got George Oberleitner. That's Noctaro from Austria, and he has a woo. So you also have the ability to do the wild card week and still get into the championship.
Attempting it inside here. It's got a drone room with a bunch of drones on the walls. That's cool. Good attempts. And then outside, he's like, look, I can do that. It's not like he's using that much more room.
No, he's not.
He's not going super high. It's just like that little bit more room.
Right, and I think it's also just a subconscious thing too, knowing like that you have that ability of not having to be as careful.
Nice job, Noctaro. Couldn't quite get it done inside, but still have a chance to get in the Champions giveaway.
Are we missing a Muskov?
Yes, there was no moose.
Nothing from Moose?
No.
Oh, Moose. All right. So, starting off the Muskov clan, we've got Laura Muskov. That's Butterfly FPV, and I'm looking forward to this because Danny said I will be impressed with her video this week.
Yes. She's been getting better and better every week, for sure. Did it not come up? There it is.
Hey!
Look at that. Roll. A flip and a roll. Double roll.
Oh my god! Hey, quarantine, man. We've all got a lot of time on our hands, and I absolutely love to see more women participating. And look at how good you're getting.
I mean, she did a flip and then she did a roll. Like it went together, but that's still pretty impressive.
Right?
Inside, too.
That is so awesome. Sliding through on the socks. Great job, Laura.
Very good attempts. That is Laura's 5th attempt. She's almost surely going to win the KC
Right.
Freedom FPV prize. All right.
Next up, we've got Dan Muskov, that's Triple T FPV, who has a who.
Looks like another attempt on the title as fails.
Trevor's the only one who spelled out whoop so far?
Yep.
Ooh. I like that run.
I don't know who got closer, Dan or Laura. Oh, that one was pretty close right there.
I mean,
Oh, that one was pretty good.
they were. I guess his were more attempty, but she had some really good rolls and some really good flips.
Oops.
Great job, Dan. All right. So next up, we've got Travis Muskov, the youngest of them all. Actually, the youngest in the IGOW competition too, right?
Yep.
That is Egghead FPV, who has woo. So if he completes next week's trick, he will be entered into the championships giveaway. Also, Let's see his attempt.
Oh, that one hit the ceiling. Seems like he's disarming a little early. Oh,
Oh, that one was
that
really
was-
close.
He got all the motions, he just hit the ground. Got the foot back, full roll in, the foot back, but then was on the ground. Oh,
Oh.
good attempt, David.
Very nice. All right, and then the last of the Muskovs who have submitted, we've got Trevor Muskov, Fly FPV, who has Whoop. He's
So
basically
Trevor
got a free
was
week next
able
week.
to pull it off.
Good job.
One of the Muskovs. Thus has spelled Whoop, which is his video.
Hey, Dan.
Nice.
Very good.
He's
you
like,
see him?
"You
He's
did
just like, ah!
Oh, and just gets the King's room too.
Your dog's always attacking your guys' Whoop.
Nice little bonus there. From Fly. Oh, I didn't scoop down. Nice job, Trevor. In the Champions giveaway now.
All right, congratulations. Okay, so next up we've got Krishna Panchal, that's PKZ from San Jose, California, who was also completed this week's trick, so he now has Whoop.
Yes. Another good video from PKZ. Nice. Ooh, got under the table. Oh, and a little tap on that one.
Alright.
There you go. Get off the cube. The Rubik's Cube. You did the Cubik's Rube earlier.
Great job.
Going under the table on that one to avoid the bump. Alright, 2 more videos.
Oh, wow. Alright, so next up we've got Colton Bishop, that's Kobe FPV from Arizona, who also has Whoop. Good job.
Job,
Let's
Kobe,
see his.
pulling it off.
Wonderful submission this week. I love that he uses my introduction in all of his videos. I put a lot of work into that.
Nice. Taking outside on his patio.
Oh,
Very nice.
that was so good.
Good one. How many letters are left? This is P week, so you could spell Whoop this week, or there's one wild card week. So if you missed an earlier week, you could do that. If you pull that one off, it will replace any letter that you missed.
Yeah. So,
Or if you already have spelled Whoop and you pull it off, then you get one extra entry.
into the drawing.
Champions giveaway.
That is you, Kobe.
Yep.
Great job. Right?
I always want him to bounce off the trampoline. Nice job, Kobe. Getting it done.
Completed Whoop.
In the Champions giveaway.
Yep, and as Danny had previously mentioned, for all of our players that have completed Whoop through the first 5 weeks, if you are able to complete the trick due tomorrow at midnight, that will get you a bonus entry into the championships drawing. For those who only have Woo, you still have until tomorrow at midnight to complete the wildcard week trick, and then you can be entered into the championships giveaway. And for everyone else, please still attempt tomorrow's video, because for every letter that you have obtained, that is an entry into the participation giveaway.
Yep. Good explanation. Oh yeah, Ilya said that he had some better attempts, or he might have even pulled it off, but his DVR went bad.
Oh no.
So he did and he couldn't. So he just put together with what he had for an attempt at least. I don't think there's any sound. No. Hey, cat. There's that cat. We saw that cat before. I like how he has stuff on the screen. Oh. Bunch of cat action.
Kobe has a
almost
question.
right. What's Kobe? With the drawing through the champions' names, can they win something a second time? No. You can only win one thing. You just have a better chance. We'll go top to bottom. It's from best prize to worst prize. Should we say if you're here, you can choose your prize? I kind of wanted to do choose, but then everyone would have to be here. So we kind of have to have a prize that's up. I figured we'd just go best to worst, because if you have more entries.
Yeah, I was say then it's kind of just like auction style. I mean, boom, here it is. Who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get it? Boom, here's next. Who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get
Should we
it?
say if you're here, you can choose which one you want out of the list of prizes?
I mean, we did that with.
Well, we allowed them to throw it back, but that's kind of different now. Everyone in the Champions giveaway is probably going to win something because there's more prizes than there are people in there right now. And then any extra prizes will just go into the participation giveaway. So, good job, Ilya, with that attempt. So, how many people right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 people have made it in. Oh yeah, I said that before. And everyone else that still has woo, like Andy and Justin, Ian, Blaine, Max, Troy, and Brian, and Balin, you guys could still all make the Champions giveaway if you get the wild card week. Oh.
Got hungry spelt wrong for Balin also.
Nope, no one saw that. What are the prizes? Let's go over some of the prizes.
There's actually quite a nice list of prizes from a bunch of very generous sponsors from some of our favorite drone companies, as well as participants in past IGOW.
So you can see the
we've got
prizes
some
yourself
cool list of things.
if you go to the players list and you drive down, but we'll check here. So whoever wins the best video of this week gets 3 custom canopies and, of course, the beta code for $5 off.
Make sure you always thank tinywoop.com because they have been one of our biggest sponsors and, I mean, as you can see from our live streams, biggest participators as well.
So this will probably be the order I'll try to set them up in like best to worst order, even though it's kind of hard to decide depending
Good
on
night, Ishti. Thank you so much for joining us for the live stream.
See ya. But the best things are like there's a couple bind and flies in there, and there's a immersion power play that could be cool if you want it. Some like an extra pair of goggles. So there's some cool stuff in there as you can see. And basically how it will work is you'll get a bingo ball assigned to you because we have a little like bingo ball chooser thing, and then we'll roll it and whoever comes out gets the prize that's up. And I guess if you're here we'll do it this way. We'll have the prizes that are up, and then if for some reason you wanted one that's lower on the list and you're here in the chat, you can be like, I don't want the power play, I'd rather have the mini tank, something like that. And then we'll just choose someone again for the power play.
That works.
If like you already have a power play or something, like if Sam won that.
Yeah.
I know he has.
I think that works. Especially if, I mean, because we have what, 13 prizes? 12 prizes?
13, yeah.
So we have 13 prizes. We currently have 8 people that are in the championship giveaway. So yeah, I believe, if we were to get drawn, I mean, I know I might personally want to bind and fly, but there might be somebody else who's like, I don't really need a bind and fly, and an awesome care package from Jesse Perkins himself seems like a cool deal.
Yep. So let's see, right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people all the way up to date, because there's a couple people
Who have already
pulled off.
submitted.
Yeah, like Prox pulled it off the second trick, and so did Ishti.
Okay.
And
Nice.
The exclamation point is if you got the extra.
If you got the extra.
Yeah.
So then when we have that, so what are we doing for that? So like, so say Sam is B1. So will he be B1 and B2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'll make like a list beforehand for both giveaways. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us, everyone.
Yes.
Who's here today.
Thank you for hanging out with us for the last hour and a half.
Has it been that long?
It has been. That's actually not too bad, though. I thought it might be a little bit longer. As has been mentioned numerous times during this live stream, please, please, please make sure that you have your videos in by tomorrow, 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yep.
So technically 11:59 and 59 seconds.
Oh, wait, we didn't show who won.
Oh, yeah. We need to show who won. Also, it will be the last week of IGOW for about a month or so?
Yeah, until IGOW too.
Yeah. So we're going to take like about a month off in preparation of IGOW 2. So be on the lookout for announcements for that. And then now, the winners. We've had so much going on today that we totally almost forgot.
Did Jason missed not miss me? All right. So, who won this week?
P-Week. I say you just do it all at the same time.
Yep. There was only two top videos. Like we said, there we go. Now I think it'll all fit on screen. Yep. So let's just reveal all the judges' scores at once.
Woohoo! Boo.
So let's see.
Oh, that looks pretty even. No?
It's close.
It looks-
It's close. We'll add it up in a second.
Yeah.
I chose Sam. Average FPV is my top one. You chose Steve. So did Jesse
Yeah.
and Josh.
As was mentioned during
Yes.
Steve's performance. I mean, come on, dude. He was floating in the middle of the air and just did it.
Jet, Mr. Shutterbug, Downfish, and Pitchpole. Nick Burns, Rab, Viram, and Barrett all chose Sam.
So-
and then Kelly and Derek chose.
So it looks like average took it this week. That is a lot of ones in the his column.
I think he edged him out. Yep, just barely by 4.
All right.
Congratulations to Average winning a 3rd week out of 5 weeks.
Right?
Wow, Sam is dominating the isolation games right
He
now.
is. And now that Isolation Games is basically over, the original IGOW has officially ended. Sam will finally receive all of his prizes.
All at once. Yes, we're actually going to send them to you, Sam. Yes, we are.
You will get them.
Okay. All right, that is everything, right?
Yes. Now that is
Anyone?
officially everything.
Steve and Average calling it. Haha, got it right. Yep, you got it.
All right. So thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you next week.
Bye. Yes, Sam deserved that. No way I'd ever do 4 in a row, let alone overconquer. Good battle. Good battle.
Shrimp in the corner.
There.